mic'd up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in, say,
oh, God. So I'm me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there, he's punching me in the stomach, like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around? Who here thinks Ochinko can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad's been with the team 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Ochinko can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
The spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
You heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Time to go to the show.
You had a circus or
I'm late. Like, I don't even know what I'd be doing.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you going to bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it?
The SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should
Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Monday, September 4th. It is Labor Day. Happy Labor Day. Hope everybody had a wonderful
Thank you for your service.
Labor Day weekend. You know what Labor Day is? You know what Labor Day, where it comes from?
No.
I don't really know either. I heard it the other day on the radio, but they said Labor Day was created for all of the people who are
Work really hard and
work
don't get
really
days
hard,
off.
and this is their day off.
Oh,
It's
it's
like a
weird that
it's
I'm
like
here.
it's like a hey, thank you for all the hard work. You're
Good.
rewarded a day off.
Come
you
to
know,
work
on a
again
Monday.
after an
Oh,
LSU game.
Yeah.
Not you. It's me.
Very tough weekend. Okay. We
Good
have
show.
our
Let's go.
we have our Heineken headlines ready to go. Lot to talk about. 95% of what we're going to talk about is
Baseball.
Yeah, is the football game. What happened? How do you fix it? Is it fixable? Is the season over? All of those answers we have here. All of those questions we will answer.
Pack it up.
Not a ton of bright spots. Some small bright spots. Not a ton of things that you can hang your hat on. But the beauty of it is, all the things that were bad were fixable. It wasn't a lack in my mind. It wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't a lack of talent. It was a lack of execution. And I think that we got to listen. Not completely lack of talent. I think that they have enough talent over there to compete. I think that it was a lack. I think the scheming wasn't good. I think that we kind of got out-coached in a sense, and I'll explain that as we go through the show. The first weekend of college football was very fun and electric in general. Outside of the LSU game on Sunday, you have one more game tonight. It is the last of a 5-game stretch of college football. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and now Monday night you have Clemson at Duke at 7 o'clock. So it's going to cap off week 1 of college football. Outside of those games, outside of the LSU game, there were some exciting things that happened. Colorado, Deion Sanders and Colorado Buffaloes look like they're kind of real. I mean, they went out there and put on a great performance against the defending runner-ups, national or the college football runner-ups. Now, I know TCU is not the same team that they were last year, but the guy who's starting quarterback for them this year was a guy who was supposed to start for them last year, got hurt. And so, it wasn't like they had a guy who was incapable of playing the position. Deion had the guys ready to go. Shador looked great.
Wow. I
mean, unbelievable. He looked like he had complete command of the offense, total control of what he was trying to do.
Seems like he's been in the same scheme for a long time.
Travis Hunter looked even better.
Yeah.
Obviously, he played every snap of the game, basically, on both sides of the field. Huh?
No way he can keep that
No
up,
way,
huh?
but if he does, he's won the Heisman.
Impressive.
I mean, interception and a touchdown. Did he score a touchdown?
He should have had the touchdown. He actually dropped it.
But he had 100 yards
dropped
receiving.
He actually, I say
Oh,
drop,
that's right. He dove and dropped it.
and it was in the basket,
And
too.
he knows he should have caught it.
Yeah.
Deion knows he should have caught it. But he had an unbelievable
I think
game.
he made up for it.
Almost had 2 picks.
Yeah.
He is unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Played majority
LSU
of
could
the
use
game.
him.
Yeah, Florida State. He was committed to Florida State.
I think a lot of people could use him.
Yep.
Good night.
But he's there. I think he is. Deion is probably the perfect guy for him to showcase his abilities on both sides of the football. Around the SEC, they had some disappointing weeks.
And he can pass. Boobie Miles.
Oh. Hopefully he doesn't have the same outcome Boobie Miles had. Hopefully he stays
let's get him
healthy
out of
and
there.
just stays where he needs to go.
But they letting him spin, though.
What?
They letting him
Yeah,
spin.
let him there.
All right.
Definitely letting him spin.
You want to win?
SEC had a pretty solid weekend. They had a few mishaps. Obviously, LSU being a big one. They had a couple other ones. Not every SEC team won. Obviously, South Carolina. I thought they were going to – I had them in my parlay to I don't mean to do this. I'm skippy. I'm very slow on this. I don't know if it's the camera. Do you see me being very
No, it's just a connection to the.
Okay, perfect. I was just making sure.
I would be looking much
Okay, I was just
different.
making sure. Okay, as long as it's just that, I'm good. I had South Carolina to beat
So did I.
North Carolina. That did not happen.
Blew up my parlay.
Honestly, South Carolina had a chance.
They did.
They dropped the 4th down pass. That would have been the first down. That would have kind of kept them going. They had opportunities. They had the onside kick. I thought they were going to do it, and then they kind of shot themselves in the foot, and then it kind of got away from them.
Sidebar sneaky note is North Carolina's head coach, Mac. Help me out here.
Matt Brown.
Mac Brown.
Is Mac Brown a sneaky quarterback or whisperer, too? Think about it. He's had some guys under
He
him
has
now.
had some guys over
He's
there.
had Vince. He's had Colt McCoy. He's had Trubisky. He's got this
Did he have
kid
Trubisky?
now. Yeah.
Was he there when Trubisky was
pretty
there?
positive.
No, it was the guy that was jacked up like that.
I thought Trubisky was right before he got there,
Yeah,
but he
it
had the guy
was.
before.
He had the guy,
He's in the NFL right
Yeah,
now.
the guy right
Howitzer. Sam Howell.
Sam Howell. So he had the guy right after. So I'm like, he's got
Maybe.
some sneaky. He's got some sneaky quarterbacks that's coming out.
That's a very good
Now, none
point.
of them have done crazy good, but that's what would make me
Sam
wonder.
Howell's starting quarterback this year.
But that's what would make me wonder if he's the quarterback whisperer because he's
And
had
Drake
some
May's
names.
obviously very good. He didn't have a great game, but he's really good. He had a couple picks. He made some mistakes.
Well, that whole team is on him.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. No, but he obviously showed the ability. College football is back. It was fun. Obviously, LSU
It's
not
over.
back yet.
It was fun for a weekend.
Not back yet. It's not over. And let's get into this thing because we're running through these Heineken headlines. The majority of the headlines, like I said, is about LSU football. I watched the game. I was at the beach for Labor Day weekend, which was nice. It was supposed to rain all weekend. We willed it to happen where the sun came out on Saturday, did not rain on Sunday, had a little beach time, took the boat out on Sunday, and then came back, grilled some burgers. I want to ask you this question. I'm going to ask both of you these questions. This happened to us on Sunday before the game. So I bought these burgers. One, I ordered I went to Publix and ordered it to go, right? Like I'd pick it up so I didn't have to go in there or do whatever. And the burgers on the thing looked like they had just 2 burgers in a pack. So I go, well, there's 4 in the pack, not 2 in the pack. So we had a shit ton of burgers that I obviously grilled or do whatever. So you have to go downstairs to the pool area to grill. We had charcoal, the whole deal. And I'm grilling. Well, the people in our condo on the 2nd floor, I'm on the grill waiting for it to get hot, and I get yelled at, hey, waving at me. I'm like, I don't know this person. Hey, we saw y'all down at the grill. We don't have a lighter or any charcoal. Do you mind putting our bratwurst on the grill for
cook
us?
for you.
And I was like, you know me, I'm like,
Yeah.
sure. I didn't want to do it. I was like, I don't know what to tell you, so I brought him. One of the guys I was with, Gray.
Uh-huh.
So he's like, fuck that. You're not doing that. I'm like, what? I'm not going to tell him no. Like, what do you want me to do? Like,
He coerced you.
and
Strong
so I'm
armed
sitting
you.
there waiting to get high. He goes, no, fuck that. Give me that. He goes, hey. Waved them down because this is the deal. They were on the balcony. Then they were laughing, hanging out, drinking on their balcony.
Laughing
and I'm
at you
like,
cooking for him.
and I'm like, okay, now I kind of feel bad. Like, this is bullshit. Like, I'm doing
You
all
kind
this.
of feel bad or you kind of feel played a little bit?
I feel
Yeah.
played. I feel bad about
They're
myself.
two different things.
I feel bad about myself. So he goes, hey, fuck that.
You got
Hey,
cuckolded.
Hey. And they come out, he goes, hey, I'll give y'all the charcoal. Here's a lighter. Y'all grill it. We don't have time. We're running short on time. Like, oh, okay, here's your charcoal. And they ended up, we got rid of it, which is great. Grilled, came back up there. It was a good move by him.
What you should have did was
Just burn the shit out of them.
No. You should have been like, yeah, give it here. As soon as you finish, threw them on there. Like, and as they're on there,
Yeah, they're here.
hey, your stuff's on. You should probably
Yeah.
come take it off before it burns and
Yeah,
bounce.
but that's more work than I even wanted to do. So we got out of it. Right? We got out of it. The
What
burgers
a,
were great.
unbelievable play by them. Be like,
Yeah.
hey, you want to cook for
No
me?
doubt.
Like,
Cook my food.
No doubt. Burgers were
cuz?
fire.
but I know what situation you're talking about where it's like a communal grill.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, I guess, too many cooks in the kitchen or no
First come,
cooks in
first
the-
serve,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, well,
beat.
there's a
You
few
work
guys
here?
out there. There's some guy, like a bunch of, so our condo, the way it was set up was our condo was right here. Like, it was like separated by a fence to the next condo. Well, over the next condo, Mason Katz and them were there. That was their condo, which their condo is fire. And their condominium with the pool is fire. So Mason comes down. I'm like, hey, we're going to use y'all's grill because it's a better area. So we go and jump the fence. We give him, like, it was a small fence, but we give him the food instead of having, because you had to walk all the way around to like
a
go.
14-year-old.
Well, we didn't want to walk all the way through around the beach, right? We could have gotten in there. We just didn't want to walk around. So we said, screw it. We're jumping the fence. We gave him the food. Jumped the fence. We start grilling. All these people come down. They're all from New Orleans. So we're talking. We're having a good time. Everybody's doing the same thing, trying to get ready for the game. Then these people with the bratwurst come in. I'm like, and then we ended up getting out of it. But all in all, weekend was great. Willed away the rain. So I'm pumped to be back. I'm glad we're back here on Monday, able to give you a show and recap the game. Before we go to that, though, I do want to hear about y'all's weekend. You had a big weekend. You had your number retired at Westgate.
did.
Talked about that on Friday. That was our curtain call. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Was it great?
It's good.
They had lights with the banners and lights hanging down, shining right on the jersey, or
Well,
Fireworks.
we did it like on the
Fireworks.
field. We did it like on the field at halftime.
Oh,
so,
okay, nice.
Yeah, they kind of did this whole like presentation,
nice.
pictures.
Nice.
I caught the kickoff. I'm just kidding.
Nice.
But
Nice.
no, it was-
Oh, man.
Well,
Aaron
somebody-
Anderson could
somebody-
never.
At least somebody did. I want to get into that. I'll be later.
precursor. No, it was good. It was cool. It was whatever.
It was good.
We did that. Good experience.
Sounds like
Good to go back, be around some folks I haven't seen in
Sure.
a long time, so that was cool.
I'm glad you got your jersey retired. I'm still waiting on that.
I did that.
Yeah, Menard, your days are numbered.
Sidebar. This is pretty funny on this situation. I was trying to figure it out. We kind of got there like pretty much like right at the start of the game, and honestly, like the place was packed, and there was no parking like anywhere close. So I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can finagle this thing.
It is about me today.
So I just drove up to like one of the parking attendants, and I like drove up, and he was like trying to flag me. And I was like, hey, and I put the window down. I'm like, hey, they told me I could park back here. I was getting my jersey retired today. He goes, oh, you big dog, huh?
Go ahead.
And I just went, I mean, I
See, you
don't
like
know.
it?
He looked at me and he goes, you all right in my books? Go ahead.
Wait, like to get you, we kind of like to get your jersey retired, right? To have that, like, what is the? Everybody has different like credentials, like criteria. Like,
right.
what should the criteria be, I guess, to get your number retired, your jersey retired at your high school? Not at college, because college is a little different, pros is a little different, but like in high school.
I think at your high school it should be more like, were you not only at your time there, but like throughout, I guess, your playing career, did you stand out? You know, like high school's a little different. Obviously, like you can stand out.
And did you progress? You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah, exactly. Progressing and you stand out, but like to me, like it's different from like professional ball and or college ball to that, because once you get to college and professional ball, there's so many good careers and or maybe standout careers.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean get your jersey retired.
Right.
So for me, I guess in high school, that would be probably the biggest way to look at it, in my opinion.
Well, hopefully I can fit that criteria.
Yeah,
one
it
day.
sounds like you're making a push for yourself.
No,
That's
hopefully I
okay.
just can fit it one day. I'll enjoy.
Me too. One day.
I'll
yeah.
enjoy. I mean, I feel like I had a nice decorated career in high school. I went to the major leagues.
Those two things usually Little bit of an
I won a College
All-American.
World Series.
Little bit of an All-American.
I was an All-American at LSU.
Won a College World. Hey, wait. World champ from the USA team. USA
Well,
team.
silver medal.
Silver medal.
Oh, well, yeah. We
That's
don't.
probably
That's
why.
it. That's it.
That's it.
Caveat.
That is what the issue is.
Well,
That's
just
what happened.
go ahead and put the sidebar in there. I gave a glove to Yoenis Cespedes. That should
Yeah,
be-
that's it. That's like an
It's a little-
asterisk.
there
Hey,
you
listen,
go.
I was the reason why he got
That's
to the
where
big
he.
leagues.
If he doesn't
He
get
didn't
this
have this
glove,
glove.
he doesn't continue to play.
No way.
You basically stopped the Cold War.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's
Now
you.
look, after that,
It's JFK.
Cuba
Mikey
opened
Mahtook.
Cuba opened it for the United States to be able to get these players to come over there without having to defect.
I'm 12.
Look, that's definitely
that's you.
retirable.
It might be a
Jersey
Nobel Peace
retirable.
Prize.
Honorable mention for Nobel Peace
Yes,
Prize.
I mean,
Like,
there's
this gotta
I
be.
mean, there's
This
a
got to
lot
be
of-
part of the
I mean,
jersey
there's a lot of
retirement
things
thing.
happening right there. Lloyd, how was your weekend?
Oh
that's
God,
nice.
that was
nice.
a mistake.
That's nice. Look at that. That's a good logo.
Oh, now it's me. Now it's back to you.
How was your weekend?
Great. It was awful.
Still in the head. Still in your head. I think with the on the computer right there.
What do you mean?
Where you gave the logo, a big close-ups of logo and a close-up to you.
Oh,
Sometimes you
yeah.
have a little weekend brain. It's okay. How was it though? What'd you do?
Still have the weekend brain. Woke up early this morning. I thought I wasn't gonna stay in Alexandria. I saw 3 UFOs Saturday night, and I shit you not, I did. And there's people that were with me that also saw them.
Were y'all
No,
know what?
we were drinking. Yes,
That was it.
that was it.
You sure?
Well, yes.
I'm sure it was.
And I got fussed at because I got asked to go. I said, "Take me, beam me up." And Rebecca got mad at me. She's like, "You're just gonna leave me?" I was like, "Yeah, I want to see
To
what's
the
up."
UFO.
Yeah,
Where'd you see him?
we were in the pool, and they were just hovering around Alexandria. They were just right there. I swear to God, I'm not
Did
lying.
you take a video?
No, I didn't have, we're in the pool. I don't have a phone.
Nobody around you had a phone. Everybody was in the pool. Nobody was out of the pool. Nobody had the ability.
It was 7 a.m.
That's how I know you didn't see it.
I definitely did.
Saw something.
We looked at each
Saw
other.
something.
Yeah, we
At
all,
7 a.m. in the pool, you're not just getting up at 7. Hey, let's go sit in the pool at 7 a.m. You are just haven't been sleeping all night. Right?
I
know what that means?
took a cat nap.
Okay. That's fine. But,
I did see him.
you saw something.
We said
I
that
believe
nobody's
in
gonna
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they're
You
there.
saw something.
They're definitely there. Blue aura all around.
Hmm.
So don't for. if
This
you're
is, post catnap too.
Yeah. Post cat nap at 7
This
a.m.
is
in the morning.
pre-cat
In the
nap.
pool. This pre-cat nap in the pool. On the come down of alcohol, he's probably hung over
I
already.
don't know how far down he was
Yeah,
at this point.
Listen,
I don't have the flu anymore.
I'm not saying they're not real. I believe that they are real.
I couldn't believe I saw him. It's unbelievable.
I don't know if what you saw was what you think it was. Is
It
what I'm
definitely
saying
was.
based off of the situation that you just laid out and the substances that you may have been on or may not have been on. I don't know. It's okay. I hope they're real because I think that'd be cool. Hopefully they're nice.
I tried to ask him who was going to win the LSU game. They left.
Well, they
So
knew
that
the
should have
answer.
been, yeah.
They probably knew the answer.
Telltale sign.
Speaking of, let's get into it. 2023 LSU football Tigers opened the season with a lot of hype. Most hype they've had since probably
2011.
2020. After 2019,
Yeah.
you have 2020 coming off the national champion. Oh, we're going to be really good. A lot of hype, a lot of promise. Hey, we finished the season before on a high note. We have everybody returning basically on offense. We have a lot of new guys from the portal that we think are just going to fit right in. Great recruiting class. Here we go. Brian Kelly's second year. Everybody's got a little hype. We're good. Then game one happens. And similar to what happened in 2020, that first game, a lot of hype. We lose. Not a good showing. 2021, not a good showing. Lose that game. 2022, last year, not a good showing. 2023, lose again, not a good showing. That's 4 straight opening day losses.
On the biggest stage you can have.
This one, yes, the last 2 were on the biggest stage you could possibly have. It's Sunday Night Football, college football, week 1 when nobody else is playing. All eyes on you. You have Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler calling the game, which if they're calling the game, it's like it is the biggest game of college football that week. And LSU starts off great. I'm just going to go ahead and just give the recap, and then we'll go. LSU starts off great. Boom. Hey, they get the ball. Florida State wins the toss, defers the second half, kicks off to LSU. Mike Denbrock dials up a great play where running back kind of sneaks out in the flat, almost like a little bit of a pick play, misdirection. Boom, 55-yard completion to Trey Bradford, which if you pick Trey Bradford to start opening day, you win $1 million, and nobody picked him to do that unless you were probably behind the scenes and understood it, because we thought Logan Diggs or Noah Kane or Josh.
Not a carry.
No, Logan Diggs wasn't playing, wasn't available, apparently.
Oh.
That's what Brian Kelly said. He was not available because of injury. So he said he didn't think he was healthy enough to play. So Josh Williams got some carries, which we didn't think Josh Williams was going to play. He ended up getting carries. Noah Kane scored a touchdown. Trey Bradford had that first big play. And then you're like, okay. Then they run a nice little creative, hey, run, pass, right in the flats to Mason Taylor. He makes a great play, gets all the way down there. We get to the goal line. That's when everything fell apart. We had 6 plays, not 7, no, is it 7?
6 for sure.
6 or 7 plays inside the 5-yard line, and we don't get anything. We end up empty-handed, no points, 0 points. Florida State gets the ball. They go down. They score a touchdown, so now they're up 7-0.
You're right, 7 plays, because it was 1, 2, 3. There was a flag, or maybe it might have been 2 in a flag, but there was definitely 4 and 2 at least.
Yeah, at least. So then Florida State drives all the way down, scores a touchdown, 7-0. LSU responds, big drive, goes all the way down, scores a touchdown, 7-0. Then LSU gets a stop. Then they drive all the way down there again and score again. And you're like, oh, it's 14. No. They get stopped again, right? That's how it works. They got stopped on 4th down again inside, not the 10.
In the red zone.
12-yard, in the red zone. Get stopped again. They go up 14-7. They give up another touchdown drive, 14-14. They score. They kick a field goal, make it 17-14, and go into halftime. You're like, okay, we played really well. We moved the ball really well. We probably left at least 6 points. I'd probably say 10 points. You'd imagine both those times you get a touchdown. Let's say 6 points on the field. You should be up 9. You're up 3. You go into halftime. You're like, okay, this is fine. We did well. Our defense played pretty solid. And the second half is a whole different team, whole different ball game. We got outscored 31-0.
31-7.
Well, okay, 31-7. The last touchdown, you can't discredit it. Score a touchdown, it goes into the record books, goes into the statistics, but the game was over at that point. 31-7. We had, up until that last play, we had about 80 yards of offense in the second half. Not good. Not how you draw it up. Didn't seem like they were very creative. There's a lot of issues that we're about to get into. I want to kind of just bring up the bad memories so that everybody's fresh and understanding the same mindset, the same thought process that we're going to have when we start debating on what we need to do better, what we didn't do better, what we expected, what we didn't expect. Because there's a lot of things that we thought were going to happen that didn't happen. So, without further ado, Jared Mitchell, what did you see this weekend that, let's not even get to the good stuff. What did you see that were like, well, what the fuck? That's not what we thought was going to happen. Go down the list. Let's start.
So, I mean, here's my thing. We kind of touched on it a little bit pre-show in this little meeting we had, and we were talking about stuff. I think back over periods of time at LSU, and I can remember the long touchdown. So in this game, right, the long touchdown that happened in the 4th. The first, I think, maybe 2 plays that happened of the game to start last night were, for lack of a better word, wide open plays, right? What I saw last night, and I don't know how much of this is scheme related, because, I just named 3 plays that were scheme related. We drew it up to where guys were wide open, right? I don't know if it's scheme related and or if we are fooling ourselves right now into thinking that we are superior athletically and or fundamentally on the offensive side of the ball right now, because everything else looked so hard. I love the ability to be able to make contested catches, get the tough yards, but when it's all like that, for me, it's hard to sit here and point at just the quarterback. Now, by no means am I absolving the quarterback on how he played in his role of the loss, if you will. But, we talked in the past about – I've seen a lot of college quarterbacks that were very, very, very like all-time good college quarterbacks, and you watch the way and how things happen on the field, and they were not having to make tight window throws 80% of the time that they're out there. They got guys running wide open. They're just putting the ball out there, putting it on them, letting them go with it.
And not all those receivers are getting open in the NFL.
Not all
either.
those receivers are getting open like that. And I think when we sit here and we try to grade Jayden and we talk about how he did and what he did or didn't do, just go ahead and rewatch if you have to, or rethink about the game that we just saw and how many tight window throws we're asking him to make, and or how many tight window throws these receivers are having to catch, which means somebody ain't getting open in my mind, right? And like I said, I don't know if that's athletic ability and technique or if that is literally just scheme, and we're not doing a good job of drawing it up and getting guys open. But when I think about the game, that's the first like glaring thing that comes to mind. Secondly, on the other side of it, I don't know if this game will be an outlier. But what I do know is I'm pretty sure that I don't care throughout the SEC, I don't care who else they face all year. I'm pretty sure they're not going to face 6'4", 215 on one side and 6'7", 200 plus on the other side. Like, I'm just pretty sure that's not going to happen.
This is probably the best offense they're going to face all year.
I mean, and the crazy part is the jump balls is going to the guy that was 3 inches shorter, right? So I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen all year. So I wonder how much of it I can sit here and blame or point at the DBs. Because if we think about besides the one slant touchdown where there was tackles broken, the jump balls in the end zone, I'm not sure there's much else you really could have asked the DBs to do. You know, playing through the hands, they couldn't really get through the hands or whatever. I'm not sure there's much else you could have asked them to do on just those 2 plays, right? But other than that, there's obviously other things that needed to be cleaned up. But other than that, that was like the biggest thing. And then for me, the biggest thing that jumped out to me on the defensive side of the ball is, as we talked about before, I'm not in the building, so I don't know. But if we don't have the ability to let him or to get him to play a different position that he can play just as fast at and just as effective at the middle linebacker spot, then we got to get Harold back on either edge and let him play.
And we talked about that because, listen, if you want to develop him, I get that,
Yep.
right? But if it's
You develop him in the spring.
Exactly. And if it's going to be
in the summer.
to the detriment of the team, right, where, hey, this guy, or detriment of the player where he's like, this guy, look, we do want to develop him. We want him to be the guy, but, you know, he's not really taking to that position. He doesn't feel like he's playing a little tight. Move him back, figure it out, and let him develop gradually. And if that's going to be his position in college, he's still going to get drafted in the first round based off of pure athleticism and talent and that ability. Let the NFL develop him that way, right? Like, but if he's going to be his most effective for coming off the edge, let him come off the edge. To me, one of the biggest disappointments that I saw in the game, right? And look, it's the first game of the season. There's a lot of football left to be played. Last year we played bad opening game. They're able to right the ship. They're able to win out up until they played Tennessee, right? They got back into the top 10, the whole deal, right? They have the ability to do that same thing. They can do the exact same thing they did last year, this year. I think you have a lot of the same guys. But the thing that really disappointed me was the offensive line. The offensive line, to me, was supposed to be, in my head, the strength of the offense. Hey, the offense is going to go how the offensive line goes. They're going to push these guys. They have a lot of guys that have had a lot of snaps together on this offensive line. The continuity is going to be there, which is important on the offensive line, and they're going to get some push. Well, the offensive line wasn't great. In particular, the right side of the offensive line was not great last night. And you saw that in the running game. Could not get anything going in the running game. Couldn't get anything going. Couldn't get any push. Part of the reason why you couldn't score in the red zone in the first half. And to me, like, that was one of the things that I was not expecting to see. Yeah, maybe Jayden Daniels was going to come out a little rusty. Maybe some of the receivers are going to come out a little rusty. Maybe the defense was going to give up a couple big plays here and there. But I thought I could count on that defense. I mean, the offensive line being solid and doing that. And it wasn't what I anticipated, and I guess that's on me for the expectations that I set on what was going to be had. To me, that was my biggest concern or my biggest disappointment in the game. There's a lot of others. We're going to continue to go to it, but I want to go around this round table. Lloyd, what was something that you saw? You're like, damn, I was not expecting that, and there's something that we need to do to fix that.
Never in my life. I'm not the oldest man in the world. I am 31 now. I've never seen an LSU football team quit. And that was the first time in my life I've seen an LSU football team roll over and get their belly patted like a dog that's on the porch. It was second half, nothing left. Like you could see it from at the end of the third quarter with a minute left, that defense had nothing left in the tank. Like, and I get that, but where's the effort? You're going to let Florida State bully you from the opening fucking whistle. That's my problem. Like, they had 3 personal fouls. You were cool with it. They let them throw Aaron Anderson into your bench, and you did nothing about it. There was not one person that stood up and grabbed somebody. Like, go get a personal foul, too. You can't let yourself get bullied like that, and they did. Florida State said they went in there with the murder mentality of
I get that.
We're going in there and saying we're going to set the tempo.
They did.
And they did. And LSU never did anything about it. Never in my life have I seen that, where LSU was the one that gets bullied. LSU needed to step up. Anybody on that defense needed to step up. Anybody on the offense needed to step up. Let your quarterback get first drive. They pick him up and throw him down. Like, that's already happened.
They didn't pick him up. They caught him.
But that's no. I'm talking about the personal foul inside the red zone where it was way beyond the whistle. And they throw him into the ground to get a personal foul. Cool.
Oh, no, that personal foul was on the guy who knocked Kyron Lacey down.
No, that's the second one that I'm talking about when they had it was a designed run.
I know what you're talking about.
For Jayden Daniels, and then it was way after the whistle, and they kept playing. But
yeah.
It was in the backfield.
Yeah, that was Florida State's mentality though. Mike Norvell said, "Go get personal fouls. Go show them who is going to set the tempo in this game."
Go get personal.
I bet he did. It seemed like it. Like, they did not give a fuck about that. They were saying, "We'll give you 45 yards if it means we're going to set the tempo in this game." LSU never responded. There was never one person that stood up and said, "Hey, where's Bull Campbell? If you're going to treat my quarterback like that, go grab somebody. Like, don't put your hands on me like that." And that was my biggest issue with the game. LSU was fucking Charmin soft, and that's sad.
I get that. First half, the response to me was when they scored, I was like, okay, I thought they were going to, because last year, every game in the second half, they made the adjustments. That was the big thing. I was like, okay, we didn't play as well as we wanted to in the first half. We're still up 17-14, could have been more. We're going to go into halftime. We're going to be good to go. Like, this is right where we need to be. Opposite. We got outcoached in the second half. We got out-schemed in the second half. I didn't feel like the creativity there on offense was ever there on offense.
And like for actual real analysis, that was like the fan coming out of me a little bit.
That's why I wanted you to talk.
But like on the other side, you're exactly right. Like LSU made no adjustments. We were talking about it pre-show. How many plays does it feel like LSU ran on offense? I feel like you saw the same 5 plays every down where it's like, hey, dude, the book's out. They know what you're going to do with the RPO Mason Taylor out in the flat. Like, that's already been seen. If you're Mike Denbrock, you should be going to work today. Right now, you should be in the office and start looking at some things, because how many times you send Aaron?
You should have been working yesterday after the game.
Yeah, but how many times you send? How many times you send Aaron Anderson in motion and not give him the ball? Give it to him once.
And he got about 9 yards.
And then that was it.
When Aaron Anderson just dropped the football, I was like, oh no.
Well, that's special teams. But Aaron Anderson's a weapon. Greg Clayton, blessed by God, those hands are special.
Yep.
Yeah.
And thank God. On a different note, right? Like, we're gonna keep going through because there's a lot. We got to the offensive line, we got to the play calling. My concern before the game that we had talked about on the show was my concern was there hasn't been a number 2 guy who's separated himself offensively as a wide receiver, right? There hasn't been another guy that we've heard about them talk about. Oh, in camp, this guy's been great. Outside of a few of the comments they made on some freshmen, right? So I'm thinking like, okay, it's the first game, big game. Kyron Lacey's definitely gonna play. Brian Thomas Jr. is definitely going to play. Look, at the end of the day, you look at the numbers, Brian Thomas had a great game because of the long touchdown at the end of the game. But it didn't feel like anybody was getting separation. Malik had a solid game as a wide receiver, but he was making contested catches. It just didn't seem like they were getting open. Now, I think that's half on receivers, and I think that's half on scheme. I think that there's a way to scheme these guys open to get them, or scheme the offense to get these guys open and put them in a better situation to succeed. I also think that if that's going to be the case and those guys aren't going to be open or drop passes, let's play some of these young guys. And let's just say, hey, you know what? We're going to play you. You're going to figure this thing out. Now, I don't know how far off they are as far as the route trees go and understanding the offense, but if they're going to go out there and they're going to make plays, you're going to have to give them an opportunity because what we saw yesterday or last night is no big plays were made from LSU. Outside of that first drive, all the jump balls that happened when Florida State was on offense, they won. Touchdowns, first downs. We could not get Florida State off the field on third down. All of the big plays that we needed to make, we did not make. Now, Florida State had a couple drops in the first half, thank God, right? We also had some drops, but those jump balls, Keon Coleman, you can cover. They had him covered as good as you wanted to cover him, but he went up there and got it, right? Sometimes you got to let your athletes make plays, and we did not make those big plays. We didn't get the fourth downs. We dropped passes when we needed to come back. We didn't get the jump balls on the defensive side of the ball. And so, to me, all of that is a recipe for what happened. Because the more those things happen, the more likely it is for it to snowball and you just get exhausted, right? The one bright spot in my mind, the guy who played, I think the two guys on defense that played really well. I thought Mikie Wingo played well. I thought he was in the backfield all the time. I thought he was wrecking everything. I thought he looked really good.
I can't wait to see him and Mason
Me
Smith
too.
on the same defensive line.
I'm trying to give it. Now we're going to the positive side. I thought Greg Brooks played great.
Dog.
I thought Greg Brooks was the one guy on the defense where I was like, damn, this guy is like where he needs to be. He's playing fast. He's playing aggressive. Whole reason the interception happened was because of him, right? The touchdown run that Jordan Travis had, yeah, he made the right read and pulled it, but Greg Brooks blew that play up, right?
I don't even think it was a read. I think it was literally
shit.
Intuitive, like this is going to get blown up if I don't pull it.
No doubt. And so
And
to
that's
me,
the difference with LSU had the same situation, and he decides to keep it as opposed to give it, where LSU was in the red zone on the 4th and 2, and that's the difference maker. Those two plays you can look at them in the mirror as that's the difference in the game almost.
Right. And that to me that was the two bright spots on the defensive side of the football.
Can we talk about that real quick?
That play?
No, just what they're gonna do defensively.
Yeah, that's what I was about to go.
But see, yeah, can we? Because I wanted to touch on this side of it too, because I didn't really touch on it before. So so everybody remembers the Tennessee game last year, where we kind of felt like we pulled ourselves out of the game very early just by decisions that were made, right? To me, and it's just me, right? I get it, man. We feel like we're on the inch-yard line. We should be able to punch it in. But let me ask a question to y'all. If I give you 6 or 7 tries to punch it in, and you stop me 6 out of those 7 or 5 out of those 6, whether you give it up finally or not, when you go back to your sideline, in your mind, what are you telling yourself? Hey, man, if we don't have that penalty and we don't give them extra downs, they have to kick.
Yep.
Right? So, like, in my mind, even if you would have punched it in on play 6 and or play 7, you kind of still really lost that battle down there because you didn't make them feel like, oh, man, we can't stop it. We imposed our will. So if, in my mind, when they give you 6 or 7 chances to kick, you go kick. We didn't kick. So we didn't flip the momentum, right? We didn't kick, and we lost 10 yards on that play, if I remember correctly. So we didn't even pin them back, right? So that happens the first time. The next time we get inside the red zone again.
Flipped. First one was on the goal line. Second one
They lost yards.
He lost yards. We didn't get tackled on the goal line. He tried to go backwards and he fell.
He got tackled.
Right.
So we didn't even pin him. We didn't even pin him deep, right? So that happened the first time. The second time, once again, like I said, it was just a drive or 2 drives before that where 6 out of 7 times or 5 out of 6 times they whooped you. So we get into a 4th and short again.
Take the point.
They don't feel like you're imposing will. Take the points.
Yeah.
I think those two situations, now when you start moving forward in the game, based off a score alone, you start making them have to make more decisions than you have to make. And I think when we keep doing that, because like at the end of the day, first game of the season, I'm pretty sure we're not going to lose whatever was to be won on the season by punching it in on 4th and 1, first drive of the game. If that's what you need to be able to get where you need to go, then you're not the team that you need to be.
Right? Brian Kelly said that.
You're not the team you need to be. So to me, but like what I'm saying, so we say that, but then if that's how you feel, then we gotta make different decisions right there. So that part of it too kind of threw me off a little bit.
So,
but not to disagree with you, but I did agree with the decision to go for it in those times because I feel like Brian Kelly probably felt, and that everybody that watched LSU and has heard about LSU is like, go impose your will. Like, this is the time to show you
But we didn't.
But
That's
you
my
didn't.
point.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But like in the moment, I was all for going for it because
I wasn't, because
yeah.
in the moment I said the same thing. I was like, hey, 3 of them happened. We didn't do it. Two more happened. Like, hey,
I know, that's what I'm saying. The second time, like, kick it. But the first time you get down there, and then even after the penalty, I'm with you. Like, now with, like, revisionist history is easy, right? But it just felt like, hey, if you have the offensive line that's been hyped up the way that it has been, you have this running game that you feel like, to me, that comes down to play calling that was just so vanilla that it was
But
never.
what's the gain? What's the gain down there?
I think it was kind of an ego
What's
trip.
the gain? Let me ask you that. What's the gain when there's 12-plus minutes left? I don't even know. They play 12-minute quarters or 15-minute quarters?
15.
15.
When there's 12-plus minutes left in game 1 of the year and play 6 or play 7 from the goal line and you ain't punched it in, what are you really telling someone at that point?
You're fraud.
You're not imposing will.
Right.
So why are
Yeah.
we pushing it still?
Right.
Take the points.
Well,
Let's figure it out the next time around.
And here's my next question.
And
with
I think
that,
it's
right?
like comes from a lot. I think a lot of it, real quick, comes from the Alabama game where he's like, "This is who we are." Like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
but
go
they
for
had
it.
the right plays.
That's what I'm saying. I'm
Me
fine
too.
with it. Like if we run that and we get you if it takes you 6 plays, man, you're
yeah,
getting whipped.
no one to say. Yeah, no one
like
to
you're
say.
getting whipped.
Yeah, concede.
Alabama,
Take the points.
The Alabama game last year, LSU was like they were getting.
But I think
short
that's what he
yardage
wants his
situations.
identity to be.
I
Brian
once
Kelly.
again, like I said, like, and so he can tell you this thing too, man. Like you can take this to baseball, you can take this to football. There's times in baseball games where the pitcher knows that the hitter knows that everybody in the ballpark knows that he's
I'm
getting a
done.
heater. Can you beat me? There's times in a football game that everybody knows, that I know, that you know, that everybody in the stadium knows. I'm running it right down your throat.
Yep.
And I still have to be able to get that. And when we can't do that, i.e. those first 5 and or 6 plays, let's concede. We'll figure it out the next time coming.
Yep.
Instead of trying to maybe give up the ball right there
it's
without
still
getting anything out of it.
And it's a net win.
You get points.
Exactly.
Yeah. you get points.
Here's my other thing, right? You saw Brian Kelly get frustrated with Denbrock in those situations because he kept trying to run the ball up the middle. I know you want to impose your will. Hey, run the fucking ball
to the
outside.
left.
Run or to the left. Run it to the outside. Stop going inside. Do something different than the other 6 times that you did it, right? And to me, that's the issue. What do? We're going to get to the offense. We want to talk about the defense, though. What do you do to fix the defense? Right? We're talking about the defense, and we're talking about.
I think the defense is an easy fix.
I agree. I think you put Harold Perkins
back to where he
was last year.
Just erase your memory from everything you did from the
Let's-
I mean, we
Space-
realistically had no pressure, too, just
none.
throughout the whole game.
No, he rushed the passer 7 times.
He dropped back in coverage 28 times.
Yes. I think Spates is the middle line.
Exactly.
Let Spates be the guy in the middle. Let Harold Perkins be the guy who goes and gets the quarterback, right? And I think
Or put Harold at safety if he's going to
put
do that.
Toviano in the put people in the game who are going to go out there and be aggressive, and they're going to make decisions. It may not be the right decision all the time, but make the decision with some confidence, or go after and play with some confidence and athleticism, because it felt like
You took Harold's confidence away.
Well, not just that, too. I mean, like, go ahead, finish that.
no, it
Because-
just felt like these guys were just trying to be in the perfect situation, the perfect spot, and they played just not fast. And if they want to play zone defense, they play zone defense, but the holes in the zone were so big and nobody was closing them up.
Here's my thing. What's more impactful in your mind? Harold having 15 tackles or Harold having 3 sacks?
3 sacks.
And so the reason why I say that is because when it's 3rd and 10 or 2nd and 8, and we get to situations where I need my ears pinned back and I want to get to the quarterback, I just could never imagine taking Von Miller out of that situation just because we want him to roam the middle.
Right.
I need my best pass rushers to be rushing in those
Yeah.
situations, especially when they're on the field, right? Like, not like, hey, I need a break, come get me for a play. If they're on the field, I need you to be able to rush the passer right there. And so I get how dynamic he is as a player, how much they think he can do in other situations, and I'm not at all saying that he can't. But I'd be damned if he's not this team's best pass rusher.
Right.
So we need him to rush the passer when there's chances to rush the passer.
How many tackles do you think he had?
7.
3.
He had 3 tackles, 2 assisted tackles. He had 5 sacks against Arkansas.
I think I counted 3 times, 2 or 3 times myself, where he was the spy, and the spy got blocked. Like he ran himself into blocks
because he didn't know what
because he's not used to
took
doing
away what makes
that.
him special.
Right. So like, just don't, I get it, man. Like I understand if you could get that ability to play at that spot, you feel like you have something super down, and that's fine. But I also like tackles for loss, man, and I just don't understand affecting and getting a quarterback off of his spot and getting to the quarterback, and we just conceded that opportunity realistically because we didn't even let him do it.
And I think if you want to look at it from an LSU's like coaching perspective, it says a lot about the linebacker room where they don't have anybody else to do what they need to do.
Well,
they
guess
need
what?
him
They
to
don't
play.
need to do as much of it if we can get to the quarterback.
I agree, but they don't have anybody else to play that spot. They have
Put in there.
4 they have 4 scholarship linebackers.
I know.
That's why I think he's kind of being thrust into that role. But now you saw what happens when he's there. It wasn't good. Like put in Weeks.
Yeah, put in somebody else that's going to go there and
Let Harold
this
do what
guy
he has to
play
do.
his-
But I
his
think that was
position.
their thinking, is what I'm saying. Is like we don't have enough
I
bodies.
agree, but like once you take his aggressiveness away and he's thinking too much, and he's
You
not
took him out the
athlete,
game.
and you're taking away what he's good at, and that's going out there and just being an athlete and being a good football player, right? You're taking that away, and I don't know. I do know. You move him back to where he's comfortable, and you figure out the other side, because if you're at least going to have him there doing what he's good at and getting after the passer
Everything
and
kinda
spying the
falls
quarterback,
in.
then you can figure out the other shit. At least you know you're going to have some guy that's going to do what he needs to do.
That every offense has to look at and go, where's 4?
Exactly. And then you put in Mason Smith next week, and you have him back, and you have the 2 best defenders on your team back in the game. I think they need to figure out the cornerback position too, right? I know we don't have a lot of depth, but we have some young guys. I think somehow you can't tell me that these young guys aren't talented enough to be able to. What's going on? Do it.
He's
What
parking.
happened?
He's parking.
Oh. You can't tell me that these young guys that we have aren't talented enough to be able to get some opportunity, get some run, and say, hey, you know what? Here's the reason why I think that. You're letting these cornerbacks sit back there. They're veteran. They're supposed to have the experience, and they're supposed to be in the right. You know they're going to be in the right spot. At least that's what you think. It didn't feel like they were a lot of times in the right spot this weekend, and when they were, they got beat athletically, right?
So I go back to so like the slant touchdown, right? The Keon Coleman slant touchdown. I think about those. That was very obvious. They were in a cover 1 and they were playing at catch distance, basically. That means if I'm going to give you 8 to 10 off the ball and I got a free safety in the back and it's literally basically man-to-man, man-free up here, you know what has to happen? We got to get home.
Yes.
And nobody got home.
Right.
So in
Not
those
even
situations,
close.
you really do put those DBs
In
at
compromise.
a very, very tough situation. Like, it's very tough. Like, I'm playing catch, but I don't even have enough time to catch because we never got home and the ball's out.
Right.
Now it's free run, right?
Right.
So, once again, I'm not sure. I'm not sold on them at all, but I'm not sure how bad they played because I do think the matchup was a matchup nightmare.
No doubt. And it was. Listen, and to Florida State's credit, Florida State is the best offense we're going to face all year, I think. Now, I say,
Ole Miss.
maybe. I mean, what Florida State did, like, Florida State's going to be in the playoffs, right? And let me tell you why. They're in the ACC.
We'll
Right.
see what Clemson and Duke do tonight.
I understand, but I think Florida State, I think people underestimate a little bit. I think people knew Florida State was good. I think they've underestimated Florida State as far as, they're not going to be that good. I think that they are. I think their offense is very good. I think that they look, Mike Norvell, the reason why Mike Norvell got that job is because he was one of the most creative and one of the better play callers in the country.
He's in his bag.
Right? And you could tell, like, he's scheming these guys to get open. So Florida State's good. They're not 20 points better, they're not 3-4 touchdowns better than LSU is, right? But they're good. They outplayed LSU. They were the better team on Sunday. Whatever, like that, all of that is true. To your point, it was a matchup nightmare for the cornerbacks. I'm not saying you need to go and replace these guys, but if you are committed to growing this team and saying, we need to develop these guys, and we can't live in the portal, and we don't want to have the same thing of revolving doors of every year we're going to bring in 3 new cornerbacks, and we have to hit on them. You've got to let some of these young guys start developing and becoming the guy, right? Like, I'd love to see, I'm not saying right away, but I'd love to see Toviano get in the game at some point. I would love to see, obviously Denver Harris is going through his own stuff, right? I don't think he was at the game this weekend. I don't know, but he didn't play, right? And you're gonna have to somehow get some of these young guys and either get them to buy in or teach them better, because you're gonna have to grow your team through some of these younger talent, some of these young receivers. Let's give them some run, maybe, right? Like put them on the field, say, hey, listen, these are the packages that I want you in right now, and then we're gonna grow, we're gonna get you in the gear, we're gonna get you experience, because hey, at the end of this year, all 3 receivers that were on the field that started are not gonna be here. They're not gonna be here, right? Like, you've got to figure out who's going to be the guys next year, and you can't always focus on trying to go to the portal and say, I'm going to go and reload in the portal, because that's just not that realistic.
But that's also the conundrum that you're stuck in being at LSU, right? Because basically the teams that are able to do what you're basically saying right now are the teams that are not, they don't have expectations to win in the now, right?
Yeah.
And so with that being the case, like game 1, game 2, if we are already conceding to guys that are not necessarily ready to play yet, puts you in a tough spot in the sense of we need to win right now. So I don't disagree with that at all. I just don't know what would be the formula to getting those guys in. Don't know what would be the formula to getting those guys on the field.
I think it was plays, not players. You got out coached.
I think that's, there's some things that happen defensively that
Offensively.
they're covered.
I'm not putting any of this on the players. Like, they did the best that they could.
I'm not absolving them. And the reason why I'll say that too is because we've seen this same coach find ways to get players open last year. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I think he did a great job, right? I think there was ways coach could have gotten better too. But at the end of the day, when I'm sitting here watching guys and guys can't get open, we can't beat players on plays, that can't all be just the coach and the play calling.
I agree, but it was also imperfect, right? Like, you had 4 drops, but Florida State had drops too. But they were drops in crucial situations.
So I guess,
that's what I'm saying.
No.
You were open.
Yeah, no.
That's what I'm saying. He drew up some good plays, and for the people that want to blame this game on Jayden Daniels, he had 411 yards of total offense.
Well,
yeah, but there was that one point not early in the game, in the middle of the game. I think at this one point, I'm so glad you said that, because it all came really late, right? But I do remember, I specifically remember at one point in the game, Travis was 21 of 28 for something in 3 or 4 touchdowns, and Jayden was 11 of 22 for 100 and something, right? It's not going to cut it if we're 50%. Just really not going to cut it.
And his numbers look better.
There were some drops. I get it in that. There was some drops.
And I'm
there
not
was just in key moments. That's what killed LSU.
For sure. And I'm not saying Jayden didn't play terrible. He didn't play great. He wasn't the reason why we lost the game, though.
No, but there's people. I'm just saying, for the people that are calling for Nussmeier, that ain't gonna fix it.
No. There's way more issues that they have to fix before you can say, oh, the quarterback.
Lance Hurd is pounding his chest right now.
Who?
Lance Hurd.
That's the other thing, man. So, Emory Jones was recruited to LSU as a guard, one of the best guards in the country. He's been playing right tackle. He's been doing a pretty fine job at right tackle. This weekend wasn't great. Bump him down a guard where he's comfortable, where he's athletic, and he can use his athleticism, move around, and put Hurd at right tackle.
And I get why they didn't do it
Me
yesterday.
Too. But listen, at some point, you did it with Will Campbell.
I mean, you did it with Will Campbell.
Yeah.
If
you think he's ready, put him in there, because obviously the guys on the right sideline specifically, but the line as a whole, they weren't as dominant as we thought they were going to be. And that hurts. When you can't do what you need to do and you can't really get into the rhythm, it never felt like the offense ever got into the rhythm.
It was disgusting.
It just felt very weird,
it
right?
felt clunky.
Clunky. And that's not what you anticipate when you have a fifth-year quarterback and you have a guy who's in the second year of his in the offense, and you have second year of the same offensive coordinator. You have a lot of continuity. That's not what you're expecting to see. So, yes, I think that if there was one initial move to make, let's try that one on the upfront first, and then we go from there, right? A second receiver needs to step up too, though.
That happens too, but like you said, the second move would be, to me, is Lloyd touched on it earlier. If we're gonna run all of these motions and back and forth, right? If I get the film and I'm Grambling State, and I'm just Grambling State, right? And I watch all the motions that you did, I'm not going to be that worried about the motion man touching the football, because they did it one time, right? If we're going to do that, use the threat. Let's not just run it just to kind of see.
Window dressing.
Let's use the threat, 100%. And I'm not sure they did that. So maybe if we use the threat, now we can start running these receivers open a little more. We can start making people stop their feet and making people use their eyes in different spots where they're not supposed to be, right? I'm not sure we did a good job of doing that, and that could go back to what Lloyd was talking about earlier on play calling, right? That's part of it, I think, a little bit, and I think a little bit's the other side too. There's somewhere to meet in the middle of both of them. And if you ask me, going into game one of the season against a team who you needed to play very top dog ball against, I think the players and the coaches showed up with C performance at best.
Yep.
At best. And let me get it. If you want to win a national championship and you
That
want to be
ain't
a
it.
force in the SEC, C performance ain't gonna get it done.
You know, it was a bright spot, another bright spot that I mentioned before, and we talked about it a little bit defensively. Braden Swenson, transfer from Oregon. I thought number 13. He was defensive end. He didn't play a ton, but
Popped when he did.
when he was in there, he made some plays. On the goal line when Florida State was backed up, he flushed Jordan Travis out of the pocket. Thought he was going to get the sack.
Should have been a pick.
Oh, this should have been the pick. Right, that was when he hit
That's
him.
a game changer.
Exactly. That's that. Now you have the ball in the 10.
You have a
Instead of them-
touchdown.
Well, yeah, if not until pick 6, right? Then he has the big play on the first drive from Florida State in the second half. When Florida State is driving to score a touchdown, he comes in and makes a big play, stops them behind the line of scrimmage. Now they kick the field goal, makes it 17-17. I wouldn't be shocked to see him in the defensive line for us. I feel like is pretty solid. That's probably our deepest position group, maybe on the team.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Before we get all the way on the defense, I just want to ask a question.
Ask.
How many rushing yards did LSU have?
Without their quarterback,
Yes.
20.
No. But you're
More?
very close. And I was going to say, take away Josh Williams' long run at the end of the first half, 35-yard carry that put LSU in field goal position. If you take
You're not
that-
counting sacks.
No. This is just rushing yards. This isn't the NCAA weird way that they
Yeah,
do it.
I don't. Well,
So Josh Williams, 4 carries for 44 yards. Take away that one run, 3 carries, 11 yards. Noah Kane, 4 carries, 4 yards. Trey Bradford, 4 carries, 1 yard.
Yep. So that's 3, 4, 4. That's 11 carries from your running backs.
And 11 yards, essentially.
Similar to what happened last year against Florida State.
And that was supposed to be the difference. Like,
Yeah.
don't put everything on Jayden Daniels.
Yep.
It's.
And
I mean,
they
it
went
was.
right back to it.
It's baffling. The offense
It's
was
baffling.
baffling.
It's baffling.
It was like.
I understand Karen Lacey dropped the ball. Like, I get that. But that was as vanilla as it can ever be.
Same issues as last year. Almost same. But the running back position, that's the same issue. Why can we not get a running game going? Offensive line, yeah, they didn't play great. I don't think the schemes was very good. It seemed like it was very easy to defend.
It's just like Jared was saying. Like, if you're going to do window dressing, make them look at the window.
Yeah. Right.
Aaron Anderson got 1 touch.
1 touch, 9 yards on the touch.
Only good enough
Well,
for one of them.
He had one and had 2 touches. One was a good one. One was a bad
One's a
one.
bad touch.
Which ended up not mattering because we got to pick
Dude,
next
Chestnut.
play.
And
Thank
he
God.
was exhausted.
Who?
Chestnut. Like, that's what it happens. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think he played. People are going to roast him, whatever, but I think he held his own as much as you could. But LSU
Listen,
LSU got out schemed.
Listen, I'm not.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they got out schemed, and I don't
You had
necessarily.
Major Burns walking down on a 3-by-1 set where it's, what do you think's going to happen?
When you keep getting, when you're not moving the ball,
He covered it well there.
and you're not doing what you need to do on the
Drive.
offensive side of the ball, it's very easy for us to watch the defensive side of the ball and watch them give up a big play and or break or lose containment, whatever it is. Like when the defense kind of that a lot of times, a whole lot of times, whether you think it's right, wrong, or indifferent, it's a lot of human nature in those situations where you get some guys playing hero ball. You get some guys really tired in those situations, and they start trying to do things they shouldn't be trying to do. I'm supposed to keep contained. No, I'm trying to make the play.
Playing outside my assignment.
Yeah, like I'm supposed to be here. I'm trying to be there because everyone wants to make the play instead of doing their job, right? Those are factors that your offense creates organically by not doing what they should be doing on offense. So to me, past the third quarter, for me, it's really hard to point at the defense. For me, you saw a lot of guys trying to do extra instead of just playing within the scheme of the defense. And that part of it I just throw it out. But what you saw in the third quarter, it'll never be enough in this league.
And I think what you said is probably LSU's saving grace is that throw it out, throw this game out, burn the tape.
And let's get to the positive side of this thing, right? You've lost one game. You did it last year. You lost one game last year. You started the game, same team. You started the game 1-0. 0-1. Started the season 0-1. And
dyslexia.
Yeah. It's not the end of the world, though, because what happened last year? You lost to Florida State. It was a brutal loss. The only reason it was close is because some hero ball happened at the end of the second half, into the game, and you were able to get back in the game. But it was kind of trending towards this type of game last year in the second half, and then all of a sudden they fumbled the ball on the goal line after the muff punt, and you thought the game was over. It wasn't. We come all the way down, score 2 touchdowns to almost tie the game. Don't tie the game, lose. Then you go the next week and you play Southern. Wasn't that the second game of the year last year, Southern?
Yep.
And you go to Southern and you say, okay, listen, I need them to go out there. I need them to do what they need to do. That means take care of business, win the game handedly, do the things that you need to do, and progress forward, right? So you get Grambling next weekend. You have Mississippi State at 11 a.m. in 2 weeks, right? That one should be a win. You should go there and you should win that game. Then you have Arkansas at home. So you get your first real big home game with the third week in September, and then you end the month at Ole Miss. In my mind, you have 2 weeks to look good, to be better, to make the changes and make the fixes, because everything that we said is fixable. It's adjustments on the coaching staff. It's adjustments with the players. It's buying in. It's understanding what you're supposed to do, and it's saying, hey, listen to me. We're not going to do this again. We're not going to let ourselves get embarrassed again. So you have Grambling State and you have Mississippi State. The season's not over with. You have everything that you wanted to do in front of you, and you have the ability to go out and get it. You showed last year that you could do it. Tennessee's not on the roster this year. On the schedule this year. Georgia's not on the schedule this year. You have Ole Miss. You have Alabama. And you have A&M. 3 ranked teams as of now on your schedule.
Which is good.
Right? There's ability. There's an avenue to get better, and there's an avenue to go out there and win. If you finish this season 10-2 in regular season, you'd be very happy with it. Everybody wants to go to the playoffs. Everybody wants to be in the national championship game. I understand all of that. Brian Kelly has said, listen, we are a lot more talented this year. We're still a year away. Recruiting-wise, you had a good recruiting class coming next year. You have an even better one ready for the 2024. 2025 is off to an unbelievable start. So they're building this roster. You still want to win now. You have the ability to go out there and win 10 games. That is still on
the table. I agree with you.
The table, right? You just got to go out there and you have to be willing to make the changes. They showed last year that they were able to do that. Denbrock made some adjustments. What frustrates me is they did it last year. They shouldn't have had to wait for it to happen again. Now they got to have to again. And listen, things happen.
1000% agree.
Things happen on the field. You get punched in your mouth. Things don't go as you expected it to go, and you got to figure some stuff out. I just didn't expect it to be like this, but the reality of it is they have to do that, and they have to make changes.
I've said it before. Oh, go ahead. No. I thought you.
I was gonna ask a question. You go first, and I'll ask a question.
Yeah, I was
after.
about to say I said it before, and I'll say it again. I'll keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. When it comes to playing an SEC schedule, when you do what you're supposed to do in the SEC schedule, you will be in the conversation at the end of the year, right? So for me, I don't care who they played and what the score was at this point, because it really doesn't matter. And for me, I would almost like to see a loss this early, because by the time you get to the end of November, nobody even really remembers what you did this early, right? Especially when it comes on the heels of a crazy win streak. No one even thinks about this, right? So playing in this league gives you the opportunity to, if you take care of business in this league, you have an opportunity to be where you need to be at the end. And we obviously saw them do that last year. So to me, you put this one behind you, you get better, and you keep coming, but there's a long way to come right now.
My only concern is, from what you saw from last year to this year, is that there wasn't a whole lot of change. The changes that they made weren't good. You moved Harold Perkins into a position that didn't make him more more lethal. And then what you did on offense was no change. It was a zero-sum game. It was zero difference.
So
You're going to – I'm sorry, real quick. You're going to go into goal line situations. You have Kamarian Pipton that's 6'7". He doesn't touch the field. Like, if you're going to throw a fade, throw a fade.
Love that.
use your guys that if you're going
to be obvious, be obvious.
If you're going to put young guys in there, put them in a situation where they're going to
Go up and
succeed
get
or
it.
have an opportunity to succeed. You don't have to think, this is what it is. Hey, I need you to get there. I need you to box this motherfucker out and go up there and get a rebound. Right? That's what you gotta do.
Question: It wasn't Florida State one of the teams in the nation with the most amount of returners from last year?
87%.
Okay, and so the reason why I'm bringing that up again is because I don't know exactly how much LSU brought back, but I will say
Top 5.
once again, top 5. Yeah. Once again, that's another reason why getting on the – and look, I get it. We'll sit here and say, oh, Florida State didn't have it. They didn't. I get it. I don't care. I'm talking about LSU in this situation. Being able to have real game-like situations to me matters before you actually play the first game, the first real game. And I get it if you played any other team in Division I, it's a real game, but it's not a top 10 matchup, right? And to me, that makes a big difference. So the schedule is the schedule. You got to play the schedule. The schedule's already set, and it's set for the next few years. So I completely understand that. Me, personally, I would rather see us get out there and play someone to kind of get our bearings under us. And then, hey, you can do this in week 2. Look at Alabama. They gave themselves a chance, right? Last year, this year, same thing. Somebody soft in week 1. Let's get Texas in week 2. You get a chance to see what it actually looks like, not against your own. Because even when you go ones-on-ones against your own, there still is a little bit of apprehension of, hey, my knees need to be good for tomorrow. Don't do me like that. Mm-hmm. I need you to – we're going to go hard. But, like those guys still have a little bit of an understanding of taking care of each other, if you will.
100%, right? I think that I was looking at their schedule, and I'm looking at who they have coming up. And there's a lot of winnable games on the schedule, right?
I'll sell the stock after if Mississippi State isn't an absolute
No, you don't have to even blow them out.
Stomp.
I just need you to show me that you're efficient, you're doing the things you need to do, and you're moving the football, and you're doing the little things that we needed you to do right? And we talked about Harold Perkins. You don't move Harold Perkins back, you're going to be in trouble because let me tell you, you play Ole Miss, who Jackson Dart can run, right? He's going to run around
and
a little
LSU
bit.
embarrassed them last year.
Absolutely, because of Harold Perkins. Because Jackson Dart couldn't do what he needed to do because of Harold Perkins. So you put him in the position where he can go do that again, right? You have Auburn, who, if you weren't paying attention, Auburn's quarterback, Ashford, who didn't win the starting job but then
came back in.
3 rushing touchdowns.
Yep.
So he's a running back who runs a 4.3 40 at playing quarterback.
You know who runs a 4.3 40? Harold Perkins.
Exactly. So you need him for that game, right? Not sure if people paid attention to the Alabama game. They have a monster at quarterback who can run. I'd rather have Harold Perkins running around with that guy than trying to figure out what everybody else is supposed to do on the defense.
I'd rather have Harold Perkins chasing him while he's flat-footed as opposed to him trying to have to catch up on him while he's already at full
Trying to shuck a tight end.
1,000,000%. So my point in saying this is, let's say they move Harold Perkins back, or he's playing free. Right?
If you don't, you're fired.
You got Grambling State when? We're gonna do this again. What? Okay.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
He's
I'm
not.
about to say it. Don't do this.
He's not. He's there. He's there already.
Grambling State when?
Mississippi State's where I'm at.
Mississippi State when?
It better be a fucking bloodbath.
Arkansas should be a win.
Yeah, he's gonna get fired.
Ole Miss.
Makes
Ole
me
Miss.
nervous.
Huh?
That makes me nervous.
To me, that's the biggest one.
It's the perfect spot for LSU to be in, though. Like that's your get right, figure it out game.
That's where I'm getting at, right? You have 3 games. Now, look, you're going to progressively – you already had probably your second toughest game of the year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Florida State's good.
Right. They're very
Don't let
good.
it get
I say
lost.
second toughest because Alabama's always the toughest, right?
Second or third toughest?
Yeah, second or third toughest. SEC schedule is always, tough. Grambling State, easy. Mississippi State, SEC game, easier than the normal SEC teams. Like, you're going to progress. Harder than Grambling State, but like a team you should win. Arkansas, better than Mississippi State, team that you should probably beat. Ole Miss, good,
Litmus
right?
test.
So you're going this, and you're going to get to a point where, okay, this is your test. You have a couple quizzes, a couple tests. Now here's your midterm. Show me that you can pass this thing. You got 3 big ones the rest of the year. That one, Alabama, and A&M. Those are your 3 big tests of the year. You got to figure out what you need to do before you get to Ole Miss. Win those games, get to Ole Miss, show me that you've fixed yourself, and then we'll go from there. Why are you laughing?
I don't know.
What an answer.
I don't know.
Did I say something?
No, not at all. I'm agreeing with you though. Just don't put the camera on me.
I'm confused. I want to laugh. I
No,
want to
you
laugh.
I wasn't even looking at
I need
it.
to laugh. I need to laugh. I need
This
to
he's
laugh.
laughing through the pain.
No, take the camera off.
But that's my point. It's like you have the ability.
Did I miss something?
No,
yeah.
no, go.
You have
go.
the ability to go and be 3-1. Nope. Yep.
Yeah.
3-1 before you get to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
You get to Ole Miss, you win that game. Now people are starting to talk to you like about you again, like, oh, this team like has a chance to be back where we thought they were going to be, and then you go from there. But my whole point in saying this is the season's not over with. You have the ability to do the things that you need to do. My question to y'all, before we move off of this,
Oh. I just got it.
Just go. Don't let him do
I don't
this
think
to
you know what he was like.
He doesn't. He doesn't at all.
My question to you is this: give me the 3 main things that you want to see them to make a difference over the next few weeks.
I need to
what,
see.
what 3 changes they need to have for you to look at it and say, okay.
Mason Smith might fix a lot
I was
of
about to
things.
say, obviously, the defensive side of it played better, but we got to be better in the trenches.
Yeah.
They got whooped. As a whole up front, they got whooped all game, in my opinion. Right? I need to see them play better up front. Offensively, I need to see. I won't say variation is not the word, but I need to see them be versatile. if you will.
Multiple.
I need to see them be versatile, if you will.
Multiple is such a buzzword.
Yeah.
It is.
Because
I'm just
it
saying.
works.
Yeah.
And honestly, I need to see him plan to use Jayden's legs more. Like, just be honest about it. I do
I'm
think
so
like,
happy you
we're
said
so
that.
we're so
So happy
we're so
you said
asking
that.
him so hard to stand back there and be a pocket.
It felt like he was
passer.
calling plays for him to do that, didn't it?
Like, hey, listen, bro.
It's a dirty secret.
That's not what he does. Like, I get it. You want him to do it, and to be able to do it is a huge plus. But if
It'd
we
have been great
know
in week 0.
if we know he can run and he does run, let's not phase that out of his game. And that's the next part that I need to see. And defensively, just get to the ball and ball hawk. I think they'll be
athletic.
be athletic and get there.
I think I'm not as worried about. I think they're
From
going
the
to figure it
class?
out. I do have a question. Call me,
class?
please. Everybody watched Chicago Bears last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chicago Bears were terrible beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they have a super athletic quarterback who can throw the football. He showed you could do it at Ohio State, but
50-plus touchdowns throwing.
right? But they schemed him up at Ohio State. NFL's a different story. He's got to figure some stuff out. What do they do? Hey, you know what? Your legs are very elite. There's not many people that can do the things that you can do. We're going to use that because we think that's going to be the most productive, and then we're going to let you progress as a passer gradually. Same thing with Jalen Hurts. Those guys have progressed gradually, but they don't take a strength away from them just because they want to show them that, hey, we can throw, right? It felt like
They
the
placated
plays
to the
were
crowd.
called for him to sit in the pocket and throw. And look, Jayden Daniels
did a good
do
job
a better
of it.
job of trying to go through his
But
reads.
what's
and
wrong with rolling him either way?
Exactly.
What's wrong with getting him
my
mobile?
point. They did not even move. They didn't utilize it. The 3 times they did it, 20-yard runs. It felt like
50.
draws, 50-yard.
It doesn't
run.
have to be full bootlegs
No.
either. We can roll the pocket halfway. Like, there's things we can do.
If you're
man.
getting pressure on him, if he's not having, he's not protected in the middle of the pocket. Let's move the pocket. Doesn't mean he's rolling out and he's only cutting half the field. It means you're getting deeper and you're rolling the pocket. Now the pocket's set in a different position. You have more time.
Yep.
Let's do that.
That's my biggest issue, and I'll say it until I'm also blue in the face, is that Mike Denbrock just rolled out of bed and said, here's the play sheet from 2022.
I mean,
But I don't. I think that I personally think that it kind of becomes a problem of like sometimes maybe sometimes these guys get in practice and they're so used to if you touch or if they just let you run by, that they sometimes say, oh, no, he's fine. He was good. He had enough time. He threw it there. He was able to step up a little bit. And then when that becomes game time, that no longer becomes kind of a touch. It becomes a full-on tackle. And I think maybe not being able to see those in practice throughout the entire work of a camp, right? You lose kind of sight of like, oh no,
these are live bullets.
Yeah, like they're actually getting home. Maybe we should move them a little more, and maybe they didn't put that enough of that into game planning. So I'll give them time to see if like that's something that they can fix and move forward from. But if you know it's a strength of someone,
don't take it away.
I.e. the same thing as Harold Perkins. Don't take it away from him. It's his biggest strength.
I'm glad you said that. Like, listen, you can develop him as a passer, but don't take away some of the things that he does really well.
That makes him dynamic.
Exactly, man. Like, and so that to me. So you said the things that you want to see. You want to see the defense fly to the football, be athletic, play ball hawking style defense.
Yeah.
Right. You said you wanted to see the trenches become better, offensively in particular, but just both sides. They need to be better up front. Mason Smith is going to help that.
Does help a lot of that problem. Yes.
Third one was what? Did we have a third one?
The third one was don't take Jayden's strength.
Don't take Jayden's strength away. Your three things that you need to see. That you want to see, that you feel like if I see this over the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we're going to be okay.
I would love to see a different form of play calling. I like what there's things, kind of what everything that he hit on is. I would love to see what Jayden Daniels does well. I'd love to see him do it well. Like, don't be afraid of it just because people talk about it. Like, it's okay to have him. If he's going to run 15 times, let him run 15 times. Yeah. Those were all off-schedule runs that he created by himself. And
not all of them. He had a couple draws.
Yeah, I know, but and a lot of those were on. But 3 of them were on 4th down. And I'm not afraid of that. Like, I'm okay with going forward on 4th down, if you have the right play calls in mind. Like, that's what I want to see. I want to see LSU become more dynamic on offense. I don't know if John Emery is the key to that. Like, if you get him back, but they had no running game. Like, outside of Jayden, they had nothing.
It was the same as last year.
Exactly. I would like to see Aaron Anderson in the backfield a little bit, maybe. Like, if that's what you're going to do with him, if he's just going to run motion, just put him at running back. If you can't find a running game, find one. I'd like to see maybe Lance Hurd slide in and play a little bit of. I don't know if he has to play right tackle, right guard, and it's no like slant against Emory Jones. I think he's great.
He's a better guard.
But he slid in as a guard. But he slid in and played a hell of a right tackle as a freshman. But if that's going to be your best front five, put your best front five in.
No doubt.
Other than that, I just think it's more on play calling, like on both sides, and obviously let Harold be Harold.
Right.
They overthought it. That's all it was.
And so for me, I'm very similar to what y'all have, right? What y'all have said. Obviously, I want the defense to be more aggressive. It felt like, to your point earlier, like we weren't punching them in the mouth. I'm not saying you need to go out there and get personal fouls because I disagree on what you said there. Hey, you got personal fouls, you got to fight back. Like, no, they responded in the first half as far as scoring touchdowns, driving balls.
You forget they were winning.
You still want to be physical.
Yeah.
I want them to be more physical. I want them to fly around the ball defensively, which is the ball hawking side that he's talking about. I would love to see the offensive line become better. Like, be the offensive line that we think. I think part of that is putting Hurd at right tackle and moving Emory Jones to right guard, right? I think those are the two specific things. And the third thing, I think this goes into the offensive play calling side and like scheming up things better, putting guys in better positions to be successful. I want them to give these other receivers, an opportunity to separate themselves or show that they're capable of doing things on the field, and that comes with scheming them open, right? Scheming, putting them in packages that are better fit for them, and giving them an opportunity to showcase their skills.
I think they tried way too hard to make Jayden Daniels look like somebody that probably he isn't, and that's okay. But they wanted to prove to the country, because everybody was watching, that he could do both. He's not just a runner. And I don't think he is just a runner, but it was such a make sure he does goes through progressions. That's cool. But at the end of the day, you got to win a football game. And whenever it came down to it, when did LSU look its best? Whenever he was improvising and running and get Brian Thomas's open, like that's what made things open up for the entire offense, because I don't think that the offensive coordinator is the guy for the job for the long term.
Right, I get that. Here's my other question. Right, Johnny Manziel's documentary came out on Netflix. Do you think the people in A&M around the country were upset that Johnny Manziel was running around in circles and running around, but having all these
Not when he
broken
beat
plays?
Alabama.
You think they were happy with the way he played? Yeah, he was. He won
You
the Heisman.
think that hurt his draft stock either?
No, because hey, this guy is able to improvise and do stuff. So let's let our guy, who's probably faster, actually is faster, more
would hope.
athletic, let him do that, right? Like, let's not take that away from him, and let's not put him in a box. Let's develop his passing game, but let's also continue to allow him to use his strength, which is that, like, nobody's gonna get mad if he's running around and he's creating separation. Because here's the deal: a lot of those third downs that Florida State converted against LSU were not unscheduled plays. They were Jordan Travis going around, making people miss, running around, and now your defensive backs are supposed to cover a 6'7" and a 6'4" wide receiver for 17 seconds. That's not going to happen. And then all of a sudden they're wide open. Now, of course, towards the end of the game they had some more open receivers, but early in the game they were moving the chains because Jordan Travis was doing his shit. And Jordan Travis and Jayden Daniels are very similar style quarterbacks. So why take that away from him? Because people were clamoring for it, or you say, oh, this is what we need. Like, no. You didn't do that with Desmond Ridder at Cincinnati, did you? You let him do his thing.
He got fired.
Yeah, but Desmond Ridder got drafted and
I'm talking about Denbrock.
after Desmond Ridder.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I'm saying that Brian Kelly has fired him before he brought him back.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is, you had a quarterback that was able to do both at your last stop, right?
And he's also played multiple quarterbacks before, so
I don't think that's the answer.
I don't think that's the answer either. But I'm just saying that for the people that think that's on the table, that is not on the table. You're not going to see Nussmeier unless Jayden Daniels gets hurt.
No.
Or just plays abysmal and like
He's
throwing
not
interceptions.
going to.
I know that.
I never understood the mindset or the thought process of, like, if let's just say if Nussmeier was a quarterback next week, if I had to guess, we're not going to run very many quarterback draws and we're not going to run very many quarterback reads. Why? Because that's not his strength.
Right.
So
If you can't
when
protect,
Jayden gets on the field, why are we taking out his strength? Allow him to still be able to do those things. I get it. You have him as a passer. You want to see him be able to do this as well, and so the hell do I, right?
newsflash, he ain't gonna be.
But
Joe Burrow.
newsflash, you can't take away his strength, or
Right.
why else did you give him the keys to the car?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make any sense of that.
There's a reason why he came into this year as a.
I love a Ferrari in first gear.
Yeah, it looks good. There's a reason
It's at
why he
the gas
came in
station.
with the second or third highest Heisman odds preseason. There's a reason. Because of what he did last year. What he did last year was plenty good enough. Let's just build on that and let him keep doing that. Let's not take away some of the things that he did so well. So, to go back to my question, what are those things? I think everybody has said it. I think we're all kind of saying a lot of the same things, a little variations here and there.
Game, but
Here's my next question. Ole Miss is the scariest game in this next month, right? Let's say you get through Ole Miss. You get to Ole Miss and you beat them, right? Now you are 4-1. Okay? You go to Missouri, 5-1. I know Missouri's always scary. We always play shitty over there, but 5-1.
11 a.m.
They haven't announced it yet. Depends. If you beat Ole Miss, it probably may not be. It may be a 2:30 game.
5-1.
5-1. Then you got Auburn at home, right? Auburn's the next test in my mind because it's always Auburn. They're a little sneaky. I don't know how good they're going to be as the year goes on, but
Apparently TJ Finley's a stud.
at Texas State,
I know. That was unbelievable.
a little different competition there.
Beat a D1 school.
I know, but I mean, he did that. He played well against some of the. Just didn't play well in the SEC. Anyway,
Bo Nix is killing the Pac-12 too.
Yeah. right.
That's my favorite narrative ever.
yeah.
Heisman.
7-year Bo is killing the Pac-12 too. So
You got Auburn, right? Auburn, you beat Auburn. You got Army, and you got Alabama. I'm not saying you're going to win them all, but you're looking at the schedule. You're like, okay, you have a lot of opportunity to go win games. If you go 10-2, like that's a really good season. Like you'll be okay with that. And then you're going into year 3. Okay, hey, we got better. Year 1, we overachieved. Year 2, we got some high expectations. Maybe it was a year too early, too high, but
Set the narrative.
you have a better year. You progress. You go 10-2. Now you have year 3. You've brought in a lot of your recruits. You're bringing it. Your system is there now. Now year 3 could be okay. Hey, you have Nuss who's going to be the starter. He's been there. Okay. We have a lot of guys back. We got our tackles are now seasoned. Will Campbell's going into his draft year. I'm not saying we're looking into year 3, but my whole point is, and there goes my computer. My whole point is you have the ability to be better this year than you were last year, no matter what happened in this first game. And so I'm going to end this conversation with LSU as like it's not over. It's not something that you need to worry about.
I don't
It's not something you need to panic and say, it's fire Brian Kelly. I think Brian Kelly was the right man for the job. I don't think Denbrock's the right man, but he's going to have to go out. He's a grown-ass man. He's going to go out there and make adjustments. He knows football. Let's see what those adjustments are. That's all I'm saying.
And if you do want to have the other side of the coin, it's Denbrock, what are you going to do? And defensively, I don't know if there's an answer on the back. Like they're
gonna get better. They'll get better on the back side, on the back end of it. Like I think
it's all predicated on what you do with Harold Perkins, which I would
That
hope
too.
You can't. I mean, you got to add Mason Smith in there too.
Yeah, I agree.
Here's the deal. Like when did Harold Perkins burst onto the scene last year? It took him a few games.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked if you saw somebody like that burst onto the scene in the secondary. A younger guy, Toviano maybe, somebody.
Andre Sam was balling until he knocked himself out.
Yeah, right. But my point is, like, you're gonna as the season progresses, players progress, and they get some playing time, and they get better, and they do some other things. Like that's the sign of a good team is if they can get better from week to week. So for me, it's like let's see what they look like after week 3, week 4.
What's really important, bigger than you think coming into this Grambling State game is, will you get out to enough of a lead to either, or from the start, will you take Harold and put him where he's comfortable, or will you get out to big enough of a lead to where you get a strong enough sample size of whoever is next in that spot to say, all right, I feel comfortable with him playing that in a bigger role and putting Harold where he's comfortable at playing. I do think this next game, because of the way it needs to be played and because of what you need to see, it becomes a huge game for him, right?
It needs to be like they did with Southern.
If you throw, we know like this, you threw Harold out there in that situation, that's not what you wanted back. So now you have to figure out, can we sustain this, or do we need to put somebody else in the spot to put him where he can shine the brightest how he does?
And here's the thing, man, and this is we talked about it last year. You can practice and you can game plan and you can scheme as much as you want in the offseason, in August, with the guys. You don't really know what it's going to look like until you're on the field against another team who is scheming against you, right? And then after you go through that first one, you say, okay, maybe this wasn't the right situation. Let's adjust. The coaches and the teams that don't adjust are the ones that fail. The ones that do adjust are the ones that succeed. I believe, based off of what we saw last year, this is a coaching staff led by Brian Kelly they are going to make the adjustments, and they're going to show you, okay, we understand, we've seen it. Let's figure out how to be as successful as we can with the roster we have in place right now. That's what I think is going to happen. Grambling State's the next game. It's this next week. It's the first home game of the season. Like it's one game. We've lost one game. Do not boo anybody. Do not think the season's over with because you lost that one game. Show out on Saturday and support these guys because they're going to go out there. And I want to see what they did against Southern last year. I want the game to be over by halftime. I want them to go out there, blow them out, play aggressive. Okay, boom. Now we move to Mississippi State. That's going to be an 11 a.m. game. Show me that you're disciplined and mature enough to get up at this 11 a.m. game and still have that same energy, get through that game, and now you're running high with your first SEC home game. That's what I want to see. That's all I want to see. I think if I see that, I'll be happy. I'll be confident going into the end of September.
Look, I expect to see those things happen. Why? Because we're watching a staff that did a really good job outside of when they got to the Tennessee game last year, in my opinion, of making adjustments, right? So I fully expect to see it. I just didn't think I would see what I saw in game one from this group. Now, obviously, I expect to see better, and I do think that that's what's going to happen. But I was pretty shocked and surprised at what we got in game one. So now,
things happen though.
To make the move forward is what needs to happen.
Feel better about last year's game 1 or this year's game 1?
Honestly, last year.
Me too.
Because I didn't see a whole bunch of quote unquote just
Quit.
mistakes and goofy stuff going on. They just got whipped. They got beat. They got out coached. They got outplayed. They got out hustled. They got beat.
Last year there were some things you can hang your hat on and say,
Yeah.
damn, look, they were down. It was over. It
And you
wasn't
knew
over.
it was game 1 of literally people coming from
new
all
regime.
over the place that
Yeah.
was in. So like last year, it was a whole bunch of a reason to say, we're good. And like you said, they lost by 1. So like
There's been a lot of examples of teams that came in with a lot of hype, lost that first game of the season, and then got hot, ended up, and you look at week 12, week 11, you're like, oh damn, they're 10-1. Different team than they were against Florida State. They look way different now than they did week 1. I believe that's going to be the same narrative at the end of this year with LSU as it was with all those other teams that have gone through the same situation. So my advice to you is,
stay tuned.
yeah,
Stay tuned.
Take a
Stay
deep
locked
breath.
in. Show
I'm
up
calm.
next week.
take it. Not just you, anyone. Listen, take a deep breath.
I'm pissed.
Relax. Be upset. It's okay to be upset, but understand that this is one game and they still can do everything that they wanted to do, and they're going to get better. If they don't get better, then
Heads will roll.
yes, you have a reason to be upset, because then if they don't make the adjustments, that means someone's not doing the right thing. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like we've had the same conversation last year and it worked out. So we're gonna end it at that.
Who would you bring in for OC if you could have your pick of the litter?
You
Man,
can't.
you already
can't-
firing another
Oh,
coach?
yeah, he's done.
You can't fire an OC midseason though.
No, he's not getting fired this year or next year, but after that. After Nessmeyer leaves, he's gone.
Why after Nuss leaves?
Because he's been in the system for so long. But you bring in a new regime like Colin Hurley, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but wouldn't you rather that new regime bring up the young guys before they get too ingrained in the? We're not getting to that right now. But if
We'll have
I
this
don't know.
conversation in 3 years.
We'll play the clip back in 3 years and say, you know what, Lloyd, you called it. If the offense looks like it did though for the rest of the year, it may not be 3 years. But anyway,
Is offensive coordinator hard?
huh?
Is that hard?
Yes.
I just feel like it's.
What?
Give it to Terry Anderson, maybe.
It's not on a punt.
Yeah. I'm just wondering.
It's hard, dude. It's not just, hey, let's play up in the dirt.
I
and
mean,
do
I
it.
was 3-0 in Powder Puff.
It's understanding what they're trying to do and how to get your guys in the
Oh,
right
I
spots.
get what it is.
Like, it's hard. It's not
Is offensive coordinator hard?
in game. You have to make these calls in game within split seconds.
They can't fucking stop us. Joe Brady.
They
Come
couldn't.
back.
But you also have 3 of the top 5 NFL players on the same team. That's part of the reason why they couldn't stop him.
4. Terrace Marshall, too. I'll throw him in there.
Yeah, but he's not ranked top 5 in the NFL. NFL top
That's
100.
Joe Brady's job. That's what he did.
No doubt.
There you go.
All right.
Got him Clyde.
Moving on to something else that I saw. Well, that'll be that's my curtain call, so I don't want to get to it yet. Anything else you saw? How's the gambling weekend for you?
I feel like middle.
I was 500
I
for
feel like
the
I was
weekend.
middled. Couple accounts open. I got throttled by dude.
I couldn't
dude,
bet Florida though. So.
2 years. I feel like this is your curtain call, but Dion got me. I did get him in the second half because I knew that they were just going to run out of steam at some point because they only got 22 players.
Yeah, they only scored 45. They ran out of steam.
Well, the 45-42, they came back.
I mean, they weren't like they were blowing them out by 30 points.
I'm just saying, it's going to catch him at some point. He turned over the entire roster, and Travis Hunter, unbelievable, by the way.
Yeah.
If you don't have a
I think he's
Heisman, he might win the Heisman.
Shador Sanders looked awesome too.
Yeah, he was great. 511 yards.
Running back. That was a really big recruit. He's a freshman for Colorado. A huge recruit. That was Deion's first really big recruit that he got out of transfer. And boy, he did not miss on that guy.
Apparently, he's been knowing him since he was a kid too, so that
kid's
helps a
good,
lot.
dude.
It's dangerous. And Snoop Dogg, who was running that camp. So I'm sure they have a little,
So you were 500 for the weekend.
4-2.
So that was good.
Yeah, the only reason is because of the player props. I had
Well-
the Mason. I tried to get you on
I
it.
couldn't. I was in Florida. I couldn't
I
bet.
know.
Wouldn't let me bet.
He didn't even know he has his red receipts on. So he had no idea he's
I have my red receipts on.
Probably, I think so. I don't remember.
so he has no idea he's just been ignoring me like all the time.
Oh, I have not been ignoring him. He's been ignoring me.
I was just trying to give him some advice.
He was trying to give you your own medicine. That's what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
Mason Taylor over 31.5.
I couldn't take it. I was in Florida.
I was saying I would have put more on it for you. You just didn't respond.
We had a lot going on there.
I was just trying to give you free
I was
money.
trying to be present in my vacation.
Good.
I was trying to be present with everyone else.
I could have paid for your vacation. You could have.
I don't know, maybe. So
Definitely. It
player
already
props,
happened.
Mason Taylor,
Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, Jayden Daniels rushing yards,
Hit 'em all.
Noah Kane rushing touchdown.
There you go.
All hit.
That was good for you. So you were better than 4-2, really.
Yeah, but I put so much on LSU to win that it was kind of a wash.
What else? What about you, Jay? Did you have any bets this week?
I had the one parlay in, and it got smacked by North Carolina.
Yeah,
South
I did
Carolina.
that.
I had North Carolina.
I had South Carolina.
I did lose that. I did lose that parlay that I talked about because that was the South Carolina was supposed to win money line. They didn't. I lost that one, but I won the Colorado game, and obviously I won the Utah. We talked about that on Friday, but I won the Utah-Florida game. So I went 2-4. I mean, 2-2 on the weekend. I wanted to bet more. I just couldn't. I didn't put enough. I didn't put any bets in. I guess I thought I could bet in Florida, but I could not. So I was wrong.
I'm trying to help you.
I appreciate that. All right, let's get to our seggies. Lloyd, you have a mistake of the day?
Yeah, I do. And it's going to hit on the exact same thing that we've been talking about all day and all night and while I lose sleep. But we'll be okay. I'm fine. Dozy Place Mistake of the Day brought to you by Dozy Place. Mistake of the
Dozy
Day.
Place mistake of the day brought to you by Dozy Place.
Mistake of the Day.
Go get a big ass burger tomorrow and drown your sorrows. Get a beer for lunch.
Only 9.1 million people saw LSU get absolutely throttled by Florida State. You put yourself on the biggest stage, and now you are 0-4 in primetime games. So mistake of the day.
They ain't getting any easier, Coach.
And it's not changing because you have
USC in Vegas.
In Vegas, Caleb Williams will be gone, but I'm sure they'll find somebody. Then you have
Clemson.
Is it at Clemson?
I don't know. I would like to have one of these games at home.
That would be nice.
I'd like to get them in week 2.
Yeah, or week 2. Can we get it week 0?
So, no slight towards Verge. You did what you did. We all scheduled this thinking that's going to be a good idea because Oregon 2011 was great. 10.3 million viewers at the peak, up 20% from 2022.
So your mistake of the day is LSU's performance in the most watched game ever on Sunday night.
It would have been a curtain
college.
call if it had gone the other way.
Yeah.
And because of that, I have no curtain call.
Okay. Well,
for driving to work today. And
curtain
not
call.
Offing myself.
2 shows, morning and night. You book in this day.
And I got
Appreciate
to be
it.
depressed twice today. It's been awesome.
I'm sorry. I hope we helped a little bit. At least you can vent with me. It's a therapy session. Oh,
that made it better.
What?
She's just too nice.
Jay, you gotta. Okay, so that's your mistake of the day. Mistake of the day is brought to you by
need to get
Dozy
to-
Place. Our current calls are brought to you by our friends at Assured. Jesus Christ, Assured Partners. You just gave everybody a seizure. For all your insurance needs, give us at Assured Partners a call. I have a curtain call. You have yours? You have one?
I think we're kind of in the same boat, so I'm going to let you go first and kind of
Okay.
go off of it. So, Lloyd, hit us with it.
I said a hat did not have the curtain call.
Oh, you don't have a curtain call.
Okay.
So
Yes,
my curtain
yeah.
call is to. I don't want to give it to Colorado in general, but I want to give it to like what they did in that first game with all the hype that was created around Dion and all the people that they brought in and how they performed and the way that they performed. I get it. TCU's not the same team as last year, but they're still the defending runner-ups, right? Like they're still a team that was a 20-point favorite against Colorado. And not only did Colorado beat them or cover, they beat them, and they beat them in a way where I don't think anybody had anticipated. Shador Sanders threw for almost 500 yards.
Threw for over 500.
He threw for over 500.
511 yards.
511, I think.
Yeah, over 500 yards. What are you doing?
Oh, the thing going over there?
Jesus. He threw for over 500 yards, right?
It's not real.
You had – I mean, that's unbelievable right there. you had Travis Hunter playing every snap on defense and offense, interceptions, touchdowns, the whole deal, right? 100 yards receiving. So my curtain call is to those guys. And my main curtain call is to, if you didn't listen to Deion's pregame speech,
Great.
please go watch it because it is electric and it is awesome and it is like it fired me up. And this was after the fact, the day after football, and like I was miserable driving home today, and I pulled it up and I'm like, this gives me a little juice. So shout out, curtain call to Deion Sanders, Colorado, Travis Hunter, and the boys because they are well on their way to over 3.5 wins.
Yeah, so like I'm on board with the same curtain call, if you will. I can touch on different points. I can touch on the fact that you took a SWAC quarterback and went out there and threw for over 500 yards in his first D1
and looked
game.
like he was in total control.
I'm talking literally played
7
the
on
position.
7.
He played the position. Like, it was fun to watch, right? You can go from that. You could go from 4 different receivers on that team had over 100 yards receiving. By the way, that is the most in Colorado football's history ever in game 1 there. And to the simple fact that they play next week at 11 a.m., and I will 1,000% be locked in.
I hope, and I know they probably don't want that, but I hope the Colorado plays at 11 a.m. every road game because they can't play at home at 11 a.m. on our time because that would be 9 a.m., right? 10 a.m.?
9 a.m.
Colorado
I
time.
don't participate in these conversations.
I hope they play them at 11 a.m. on the road because the 11 a.m. games are not very fun sometimes to watch. I will watch them. I will tune into them every time they play because of the energy behind it. This is the first time in the history of – not the history, but in a long time, Colorado's been sold out. Like they've had –
down.
Huh?
The 5th down.
Oh.
Cordell Stewart.
Yeah. Yeah. But like they don't – Colorado's had some success in football, but they haven't had it in a really long time. They've sold out. Like they're doing some really good things. The hype's there. So
NFL Blitz legend.
What a name. That's an all-time NFL name right there.
Carolina Panthers.
Good
Tippy out to Paducah.
Good running back, too.
He was good.
He was.
But the name was better.
Name's tough. But yeah, so they play 11 a.m., so I'm pumped.
And a pool.
Yeah. I like that. I enjoyed that. It was really, really, really fun to watch him play. There's no other way to put it. And like you said, I don't think people are giving enough credit to the simple fact that they did that not only as a 20-point underdog, but to the defending runner-up, who realistically has the quarterback starting, who was supposed to be the quarterback starting last year.
Exactly.
Like, we're not watching a team that completely retooled. You know what I mean? Like
right.
that's important to kind of put out there as well.
So shout out to them. Shout out to Deion. Shout out to all the LSU fans. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this thing together.
We're fine.
Huh?
We're fine.
We're fine. We're gonna get this thing. We're gonna get through this thing together. We're gonna talk it up as the week goes. It's painful as the week goes. It's gonna die down. NFL football is Thursday night. That's when it starts. Distract you. Maybe you're gonna get a good game on Saturday, and then you're gonna gradually just get better. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. Everybody's gonna get positive.
2-0 for Louisiana football.
Enjoy the last few hours of your Labor Day. Get a good night's sleep. Going to work with a positive attitude tomorrow. And look, the water cooler talk. Tell them that you know LSU's gonna be good. Tell them that they're gonna make these, and tell them to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe. We appreciate all the new viewers. Labor Day's a lot of people are busy on Labor Day. We just want to give you a little good, we want to give you some positive vibes going into the end of the Labor Day weekend and to the start of your short work week. Like, subscribe. If you can't watch us, if you don't like to watch us, we're anywhere you get your pods. We appreciate all love and support. We will be back live in studio from 6 to 8 p.m. this Wednesday talking about a lot more LSU probably, a lot of NFL. There's a lot of things happening.
Baseball season's right around the corner.
Baseball season's right around the corner. We're here for you.
Kim Mulkey and the Tigers are going to tip it off soon.
Wednesday is Ask Mikey and Mitch.
There
Wednesday.
You go.
We are going to send out some questions. Please put them in the chat.
No, they're going to send us.
I mean, you're going to send us some. We're going to put out.
You should ask them questions.
We should ask.
What would you ask? If you had one question to ask people you don't know.
That's a hard question.
Give me your record on the season. That's where I would go.
6-6. Well eligible.
Last year, people thought they'd be 7-5. So
I'm kidding. I think LSU's going to write this show.
I know you are.
Am I a bad person for betting the under on Mississippi State wins?
No, the show goes on. I mean, it's tragedy, but
It's like shorting the stock at 9/11.
I mean, but it's the right
It
move.
happened.
It's the right move.
I can't. I didn't do it.
You feel bad about it all. It's the right
I
move,
don't.
though.
No, I don't. But I'm asking if I should.
No, not about the move that you made. You feel bad about the situation. That's why you feel like you don't feel bad about you making the bet.
I'm
You feel
not
bad about
happy
the
that he's dead.
Exactly. You feel bad about that situation.
Yeah,
It's not
and
good.
They made a bad call about hiring a defensive coordinator to run a air raid offense. It's actually out of respect, honestly.
It is. We'll see what happens. LSU's going to get through Grambling State. They're going to play 11 a.m. against Mississippi State and have a good showing. Enjoy your Monday night. We'll see you on Wednesday. We love you.
We love you.
Peace.
Peace.